Hello, church. I hope you all are having a good week. I look forward to seeing all of you again on Sunday as we gather together for worship. I want to go ahead and go through our devotional today, but we're taking a quick break from the proverbs that we've been going through because I want to share something with you all, talking about the poetry patterns that we're going to find in the next uh, several chapters, at least. The most of the remainder of Proverbs is going to be almost like one-liners, and so we're going to be talking about that today. And so just that way we can better understand and appreciate the Proverbs and be able to see what is going on here, what's trying to be conveyed, what's trying to be said. The book of Proverbs, it offers a lot of generalities, but they're not necessarily hard and fast rules. For instance, Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4 says that lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Yet we all know, there's spoiled rich kids that have tons of money, and then there's the people that will work hard day and night, and they're never seem to be able to get out of poverty. But that's because it's more of a characteristic. It's characteristic style, relying on brief one-liners, like I said earlier. So the book of Proverbs, it requires a different reading approach than is used with a lot of other scriptures because, again, it's not literal. It's not as realistic, I guess you could say. It's hard to read more than one chapter of Proverbs at a time, but that makes it kind of a good thing that we're going through this. We're taking a month or even 2 months to get through a single chapter. But that's just something to throw out there if you ever want to read through Proverbs chapter by chapter. So the Proverbs, they're meant to be taken in small doses, which is part of the reason, like I said, why we will cover just a few verses a week. And then we're meant to kind of like almost savor and digest them, to let them absorb into us, that way we can fully understand what is going on here, what's being said. So when we're reading Proverbs, it helps to have a basic understanding of different literary devices, especially the use of parallelism, such as, and also contrasting. So showing how, these two things are similar or these two things are different, making things look as different as day and night or as similar as the sun and the stars. So, for instance, in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 10, there's a use of synonymous parallelism. Whoever winks maliciously causes grief, and a chattering fool comes to ruin. So the second half of this proverb is underscoring, and it kind of embellishes the message of the first. They're very similar, even though they're different. There's a lot of similarities, and they kind of have the same end result. But no matter, there's also antithetical parallelism, and again, found in chapter 10, verse 4, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. We mentioned this earlier. These are showing these huge differences in lifestyles and in results. So, in both kinds of parallelism, the trick is to compare each phrase to what was said before, to its parallel. When we do that, we know we kind of get the diligent hands paired with, or diligent hands paired with lazy hands, and then we also get bring wealth paired with its opposite, poverty. So these comparisons, they tend to uncover the more subtle meanings of what is being said in the Proverbs. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way, making sure that we're all on the same page, literally, making sure that we're all understanding these Proverbs, because especially with the devotional style that I'm using, where we read a chunk of scripture and then I talk about it for a little bit and really just 4 or 5 minutes, it can sometimes be difficult to understand everything that's being said here, everything that is being talked about, and they aren't always grouped together in nice little topics and themes, although I do try and find kind of the thread that is weaved in and out of each verse to tie them together. But that is why it's important. That is why I encourage you to be reading these Proverbs on your own, to be reading them yourself week by week, regardless of whether I read them, in devotional, because there's sometimes weeks that I miss or we skip, whatever. And just as long as we're all reading this and getting something from it and gleaning wisdom from the Lord, that's the important part. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Hope you all have a good week. Go in peace.